Daniel here for Tabletop. For one, please join me at the table as I teach and play through 5 tribes. And I thank you for joining me for this tutorial and solo playthrough of 5 tribes, the Djinns of Nagala. Now, 5 tribes is designed by Bruno Cathala and Days of Wonder. And I picked up this game because my patrons voted for me to do a tutorial solo playthrough of this game, and I did not own it previously, so I picked it up. It doesn't have a solo mode in the box. You have to print it out or just use, a digital device to follow the rules. It's only a 2-page rule set, and it's really easy to run. Now, in 5 tribes, you're going to try and become the new sultan of the land, and in the solo mode, you're competing against an AI. But this is not your normal AI. The AI serves to try and end the game early, preventing you from winning. If you survive until the end of the game, then you will score and see how well you did. And so let's go into setup here. Now, the first part of setup is taking all these tiles here and arranging them in a 5x6 area. And these are all randomly placed. You'll randomly place them every time you play. And then you're going to take your bag of meeples. You'll have all the different kinds of meeples here, the different colors. You're going to randomly draw 3 and place them in each of the tiles. And then you'll shuffle this deck of cards, and you're going to put 9 of them in a row at the top, face up. You'll shuffle the Djinn cards as well, and you'll place it over here, and you're going to draw 3 of them into a line here. We'll have a supply of trees and palaces, and we'll place them over here. The AI will get their 11 blue camels over here. I'll get my 11 pink camels over here. And then you give yourself $25. This is going to differ from the multiplayer mode where you start with 50, but in the solo mode, you only start with 25. And then I'll have a supply of coins left over off to the side. And you can also give yourself one of the player aids. I won't have this on the screen, but this is available. It gives you your turn actions. It tells you how the workers work and the different actions and that sort of thing, and the cleanup and end of game. And so this will be off to the side. And so that's it for setup. Now, the goal of the solo mode is to survive until the end and to have the most of the yellow meeples. They're called the viziers. You want to have more of those than the AI. The game ends when one of 2 things happens. Either one player places their 11th camel, or no more legal meeple movement is available. But also, the game can end in an instant failure if one of these 3 things happen. If the AI has 7 assassins off to the side here, it'll gather assassins over here. Those are the red meeples. If the AI collects 6 different djinns, or if for whatever reason I am unable to pay the AI when I'm required to, then if one of those 3 things happen, the game ends in an immediate failure. Now, before I talk about the turn order and how the AI works, I'm going to talk about the general rules of the game for the player, because it's a little bit different than the AI, but some of those rules cross over. So we're going to go over the general rules. On your turn, you're going to choose one of the tiles on the board here, gather all those meeples, and then you're going to place one after another in adjacent spaces. Then the last meeple you place will do an action as well as gathering up all meeples of that color from the board. Now, when you're gathering meeples and moving them, there are 3 things that you need to know. You can't move diagonally, you can't immediately backtrack, so you can't go from this space to this space and then back to that space immediately. You'd have to go around. And then the last meeple you place must already have a meeple of the same color in that destination. So in this case here, this tile here, I could gather these 3 meeples. You gather every single meeple that's there, and then you start placing them. And so if I wanted to, I could place one here. You just place them one at a time in adjacent spaces. And the next one I can place down here, and then the last one right here. And I can place it here because there is another meeple of that same color. Now, on that final placement, you're going to gather the meeples of the same color and remove them from the board, and then do an action based off of those meeples. And so let's talk about the different meeples. Now, first we have the viziers, the yellow meeples. When you gain those, you actually gain them into a supply, and those are going to count as victory points at the end of the game. You're also going to get 10 points if you have the majority. And of course, in the solo mode here, you must have the majority to win the game at the end of the game. Now, the elders, the white ones, when you gather them, you also place them in the supply, but you can use those later to purchase and activate djinns, but they're also worth 2 victory points each at the end of the game. Then you have the green ones. These are the merchants. And so when you gather the merchants, you're going to put them back in the bag. And then for as many merchants as you gathered, you're going to take that many of the cards at the top here, and it'll start from the right to the left. So If I had taken 3 merchants, then I would take the first 3 cards and add them into my inventory. We'll talk about what those cards do in a little bit. Next up, we have the builders, the blue ones. And so when you gather those, you're going to take that total. So let's say I gathered these 2 here. That would be 2 blue. We take that total and we multiply it by the number of blue reward icons surrounding that tile. So you'll see there's different victory point values for each of these tiles, and they're in a different color. So the blue is only concerned with the ones that are blue. And so in this case here, we take the 2, multiply it against 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll get that many coins into your supply. Now, coins you need to know are also victory points at the end of the game. Now, one thing to note about the blue action is that you can actually augment it with this card. You can discard this card, and then you'll be able to augment it, basically adding 1 to that multiplier. So in this case here, if I had this card and I gathered these 2 blues, that would be 3 times the 4, resulting in a total of 12 coins instead of 8. And then we have the assassins, the red ones. So when you gather those, you'll put those in the bag and you'll get to kill 1 meeple, only 1, no matter how many assassins you have, but you get to kill 1 meeple that is up to that many spaces away, the number of assassins that you put in the bag. So if you had gathered 3, you could kill a meeple up to 3 spaces away from the tile that you're currently on, and you count those by adjacency. You can also increase those by that card, as well as you can actually kill the white ones and the yellow ones that are in front of your opponent. So again, you only get to kill 1 meeple. Now, if by killing a meeple on the board results in that meeple's location being emptied, you'll actually take one of your camels and claim that location. You also claim locations, I should have mentioned this earlier, but you'll claim locations anytime that when you're gathering meeples after meeple placement and there's no meeples left in that location. Now, once you're done doing the meeple actions, you're going to move on to the tile actions. On each of these tiles in the bottom left-hand corner, there is an action. The one down here, these 2 down here, are very simple. So when you do the action, you're going to take one of those tokens, so the palace here, and place it here because it shows adding a palace here, or a tree into this location. Now these things are worth points at the end of the game for whoever controls that location, and so this palace here is worth 5 points, whereas the trees are worth 3 points each. And do note that control over a location can never be taken away. Now these other 2 locations here have a market action. And so with the market action, this one here says you can spend 3 to choose 1 card from the first 3 cards that are shown up there. This one here says you can spend 6 to take 2 cards from the first 6 cards shown up there. And so that's how those actions work. And then the final action here is the sacred place. And so here you would spend either 2 white meeples or 1 white meeple and one of these cards here to buy a Djinn. And these Djinns provide ongoing bonuses or abilities or passive abilities or activated abilities that you can use as the game goes on. I'm not going to go over all these abilities. These abilities are shown on the backside of the player mat, so if you ever need to reference those, you can. But during the gameplay, I will let you know what those abilities do when I gain them. And so that's it for tile actions. Now, after the tile actions, we go on to merchandise sale, and this is optional. So what you can do is you can sell any of the green cards and gain money for them. Now, you're going to be selling them in sets of different types of goods. And so this will be referenced on your player guide here. So if you sell 1 set of 1 type of good, that is 1 point. Whereas if you sell 7, that's 40. And so you'll notice here that these are all different kinds here, these first 5. These are 5 different kinds here. So if I gathered all 5 of those, I could sell that set for a total of 21 coins, which again is also points at the end of the game. But during the game, you're going to need to be paying the AI points as well. So you do want to keep a healthy supply of coins on hand. All right, so now let's talk about the AI's actions. The AI is going to take the first turn of every round unless you choose to pay to not have it happen, and we'll talk about that momentarily. But what's going to happen is the AI is going to roll dice for their turn. And these dice are going to signify which of the tiles they're going to empty. They're going to just straight up empty the tile. And so you're going to start down here in the bottom left. That is number 1, whereas over here is number 6 for the white, and up here is number 5 for the black. And so with a 4-4, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 for the white die, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 for the black die, and place it right here. And I just placed the dice there to remind myself where he's at on his action. And so for the action, the AI is actually going to remove all of these meeples, but I advise you do them 1 at a time. So first with the yellow meeple, it's just going to take it and add it to its supply. Again, you want to beat the AI on how many yellow meeples you have at the end of the game. And then next, we're going to remove the white one here, and it's going to add it to the supply. Now, if the AI has one white meeple and one of these Fakir cards, then the AI is going to buy a Djinn. It'll buy the bottommost Djinn here. Or if it has two white meeples, then it'll buy the Djinn. But in this case here, it only has one, so it will not purchase one right now. And then we have the blue one here, and so when it gains the blue one, it's going to work just like if I'm gaining the blue ones. And so it's going to count the surrounding tiles that have a blue victory point marker on them and multiply that by the number of blue meeples here. But instead of gaining coins, it's actually going to make me lose coins. So in this case here, I would lose 4 coins based off that. And again, if you run out of coins, you lose the game. Now the green ones, if the AI takes a green one, it's just going to take that many cards from the market, starting from the right. And it's going to discard those cards unless it's a Fakir card, and then it's going to take that into its inventory. And then for the red ones, it's just going to accumulate the red ones here. But if at any point it has 7 red assassin meeples, then I lose the game. And so once you clear the meeples for the AI, then you'll add a camel to that area and you won't be able to claim that area later. Now the AI never does the action on the card, so do keep that in mind. So in this case here, it does not add a tree to the space because the AI does not score at the end of the game. Now one thing to note, there are not 6 tiles in a column. So what happens when the AI rolls a 6? If the AI rolls that 6 for the black die, then you're going to count for the white. So in this case here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the AI is going to do both the top and bottom tile. So it's going to gain both of those, and you'll do those one at a time. So that's going to result in a lot of gains for the AI, as well as placing 2 camels and rushing the game end. Now, how can you avoid that? Well, one thing you can do is you can bid, well, kind of, you can pay to go first. And so when you do that, you have to add up the 2 dice that were rolled, and then you pay that amount to the bank. So in this case here, I would have to pay 10 coins. And what happens is you ignore this dice roll, you play your turn, then at the end of that turn, you're going to roll the dice again, and whatever result is rolled, you just have to go with it, no matter what. So you can't prevent it. But it does give you that option of going to a space that you were wanting to go to that maybe the AI was going to take, or preventing them from getting 2, tiles at the same time. So it does give you a little bit of mitigation there. All right, so once again, the AI is going to go first, then I'll go, and at the end of my turn, we will refresh the Djinn. We will move these down and add any vacancies. We will also do the same for the market, and then we'll keep going until a game end condition is triggered. And so once again, for the end game conditions, we have the camels. So if a player places 11 camels, then the game will end. If there are no legal meeple movements, then the game will end. But also, you'll end in failure once again if the AI ever gets 7 assassins, if you can't ever pay the AI, or if the AI accumulates 6 Djinns. And at the end of the game, first you're going to sell all your market cards if you have any, and gain money for the sets that you have. Then you'll gain 1 point for each of the yellow meeples, plus 10 points because you'll have the majority at the end of the game. You'll get 2 points for each of the white meeples. You'll get points based off the Djinns you own. You'll get points based off of all the tiles that you own, and then any trees and palaces that are in those places that you own. And then you'll count up the rest of your coins, and that'll be your total for the game. All right, so we're ready to begin. The AI goes first. We roll the dice. So they're going to go 1, 2 here with the white die, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to the top here. Oh man, they're going to get a couple assassins right off the bat. So you just take those assassins, and we're just going to line them up here. And again, if they get to 7, then we lose the game. And then they're going to take this white meeple here and claim it. Now, if they had 2 white meeples or a white meeple in one of those cards, then they would be able to gain a Djinn, but they don't. And so they're just going to place a camel here, and that's going to end their turn. And so now it's my turn, and I'm going to take these 3 here, I think. We'll drop the white one off here, or no, we'll drop the green one off here, the white one off here, and then the red one here. And then I gather all the reds. The green one stays there, but now I have the ability to attack. And so I can attack 1 meeple up to 1, 2, 3 spaces away, but I'm going to attack this one here and just kill it off, because now that's going to grant me ownership of that location. And then after that, we get to do the tile action, which adds a palace to that space, which will grant me more points at the end of the game. And so that's it for my turn. Now we don't have to refresh the Djinns or the market because those cards were not touched. We're going to move on to the next turn, rolling for the AI. And oh my goodness, it rolled the same thing again. And so yes, it can do that because there is a meeple there. Now, if there wasn't a meeple, I'd have to choose a different tile in that column. But in this case here, I placed a meeple, so it worked out. So it's going to remove this one, but now it has 2. And so with 2, it's going to take one of these Djinns. It takes the bottom Djinn and adds it to its supply. Again, once it reaches 6 of these, the game will end in failure. And so these will get discarded into the bag. Now, the nice thing about that is it can't place a camel there because it already has a camel. So that worked out for me. Now for my next turn, I'm going to take from this tile here. I will drop the blue one off here, then the white one, and then drop the red one and gather all the reds here. This is a great move for me. It eliminates a lot of reds off the board. And on top of that, I will claim this location and get another palace here. But now I have a choice to make. See, I need to kill a meeple up to 4 spaces away this time. And I'm not sure which to choose. I could choose one of these here, which will make it so that there will be only one color left, and I'll try and claim it the next turn. But of course, the AI could claim it before me. But I think that's a good option for me. I think I'll take this one here. Yeah, we'll kill off this one. That'll be good because next turn, I'm gonna try and gain this tile here, and we'll see if that works. And so I get my camel here, adding a palace here as well. And that's the end of my turn. Now we have to refresh the Djinns here. We're going to draw a new one. And so I kind of like that one just for the points. We'll see if I end up picking it up. All right, back to the AI's turn. We'll roll the dice. Oh no, it's a 5 and a 6. So that means it's going to do 2 actions from this column here. And you know what? I'm just going to let it happen. I don't want to spend the 11 points. So it's going to do this top one and this one. You kind of add the numbers together because this would be a 5 and this would be a 1. So do those together. Now, one thing to note, if it couldn't do both of those, it would then choose one more from that same row that it couldn't do one from. So if this was already empty, we'd have to choose one of these other 4 here to take the meeples from. All right, so we'll start with this one down here. It's going to take the green ones. Well, it takes the white one first and can't do anything with that. It just has one white one. It takes the green ones. These will go back in the bag. But since he took 2, he's going to claim 2 cards here, but these just get discarded. He only claims these cards into his inventory. And then we'll go up here and do this one. Now he gains another assassin, which is not good for me. And then he's going to gain another market card. Well, it gets discarded. And then he's going to activate this one here. The blue one, it's going to cost me money, but not much. See, we're looking for the surrounding tiles here. Any with the blue victory point, there's only 1. So we do 1 times 1. And so I only lose 1 coin out of that. So that wasn't too bad. Now, of course, since he cleared 2 locations, he's actually going to get 2 camels out there. All right, so my next move is to take these here. We're going to drop 1 off here, and then the white one here. And so I'm going to claim all 3 of these white ones into my supply here. I'll be able to use these later to buy Djinns if I want, but I have to do the sacred site action, which isn't in this location. And then I gain a camel there, and I will also gain a tree as well. And so now we're going to have to draw 3 new cards for the market to refresh that. And then it's back to the AI's turn. Let's see what they roll. All right, a 2 and a 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 is going to place them right here. And I'm really tempted to block this action. I could do that by spending 5 coins because that's the total of the dice. Because this tile's worth 15 points. It also has a sacred action and 2 white meeples on it. Oh, that's a tough choice. You know what? Let's do it. Let's block it. So I'm going to spend my 5 coins. And so we skip the AI's turn for now. It'll go after me, though, at the end of my turn. And so with that in mind, I'm going to go for that action now. So we're going to go 1, 2, and then 3 like this. And I'll gather these 3 meeples here. So I have a lot of these, but I can spend a couple right now to gain one of these cards here. And I think I will go for this one here. Now what this one does is it lets me spend one of the Fakir cards to draw from the top of the deck. And I don't know that I'm going to use it that often, but it is worth a lot of points. So I think that was good for me to get. Now I did not clear this location, so I don't get to place a camel here right now. All right, so now we have to roll the AI's dice to see where they're going to go, and I can't stop it. All right, so 1 and 5. So that means it's going to go all the way up here, but there are no meeples there. So I have to choose one of these other 2 locations to give to the AI, and that's kind of tough. But I think I'll go with the bottom one. Even though it's worth a lot of points, it's less detrimental to me because the blue doesn't do anything. There are no blue locations surrounding. It does get a vizier, which I need to start gathering viziers. and then it gains one more of these, and it's going to spend these 2 right now to take the bottom Djinn. And so now it has 2 Djinns. All right, so with that, it's the end of the round, and we're going to refresh the Djinns here to see what we get. And it's back to the AI's turn. Again, it goes first in every round. And so 2 and 3 again. Oh man. I just realized I was worried about it taking that one, but it's actually going to take this one. So I blocked it in the wrong way. That's not good. All right, so now it's going to take these. That was my mistake, but whatever works. And so it's going to do 2 blues times 4 blue locations. That's a lot of coins I'm about to lose. So we're down by 8. That's not good. And then we have a green merchant that it's taking 1 card, discarding that. And then it's got 1 more assassin, and we'll place it over here. And then it gains a camel right here. And now it's my turn. All right, so I'm going to take these down here. And we're going to go 1, 2, and drop off the assassin here, picking up both assassins. Now what I can do with these is kill a meeple 2 spaces away. So 1, 2, I'm going to kill this meeple here, and then claim that location as my own because I cleared it. And we're at the end of the round, nothing to refresh. We go on to the AI's turn. And so we have 2 and 1. So 1, 2, and 1. So it's in this spot here. There's nothing to grab here. And so I have to choose one of these others for it to grab from. And I'm going to choose from this one here. So just take 1 of those. All right, so next up, I'm going to take this group here, dropping the green one off there, blue one, and then a red here. And then I'll pick up these 2 reds, and I will assassinate this green meeple with that. And that is going to let me claim that location. Now I do have an action here. I can spend 3 money to gain one of those cards. And I'm not sure that I want to do that. I don't have much money. So I'm going to skip that for now. We'll refresh the cards and start the next round. Back to the AI's turn here. Let's see. All right, 2 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It's going to get this location here. And so it'll gain another vizier, another of the white meeples, and that means it's going to take 1 more Djinn. So now it's up to 3. And then it's going to discard 1 more card from the market. And then it'll claim that location for its own. All right, so for my next movement, I'm going to take these here. We'll draw this one off here, this one here, and the blue one there. I'll gain all 3 of these blues here. And I'll multiply these 3 by 1, 2, and 3, and that's going to gain me 9 coins. And then we'll refresh the Djinns here before we move on to the next round. Now it's the AI's turn. Let's see. All right, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. There's nothing there, so it's going to take from this column. And I think I'm okay with it just taking the assassin. Again, it needs 7, but we're almost out of assassins on the board, so I think I'm going to be okay. All right, then for my turn, why don't we make sure that I'm okay with those assassins? And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Pick up both of these assassins, and then we'll assassinate this one over here, I think. Yeah, because that's going to give me 6 points there. But I also have the action here to buy another Djinn, and I think I'm going to do that. I'll spend these 2 here to buy Jafar here, and so it turns the victory point value of the viziers, the yellow meeples, from 1 to 3 points at the end of the game. All right, so we'll refresh that here, move on to the next round. Now it's the AI's turn. 2 and 2. So there's nothing there, so it's going to take one of these here, and I guess we'll just give it one of the white meeples, probably this one here, so it can't claim that location. Speaking of claiming locations, maybe I should go for that one while I have the chance. We'll go 1, 2, and 3 like this, and take both those white meeples, claiming that location. Now the question is, do I want to spend money on a card? Looks like I forgot to refresh that. I think I will spend $3 to get one of those cards, and I'll get one of these here just in case I want to activate this one later. And so we'll refresh that again. Now it's the AI's turn. 2 and 5 again. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, it's got some meeples there, but it can't claim that location, but it will get one of the Fakir cards, and then it'll discard this card, but that wasn't too bad of a turn. Now I definitely want to try and claim this location. So I think I'm going to grab these meeples here. We'll go 1, 2, and then 3 here. Picking up these 2 blue meeples, we'll multiply these 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4. And maybe I should spend this card. We'll make it 3 times 4 there. So that'll be 12 points, or 12 coins. On top of that, I claim that location, and then I'm going to get a tree in that space. And we're doing really well on claiming locations. We've claimed a lot. The AI still has a ways to go. Usually the AI rushes the end game with their claiming of locations, but I'm doing pretty good. But I really have to watch out for the viziers. I have not got any viziers right now, so I need a majority at the end of the game. So we're gonna have to start gathering some of these down here. Maybe that one up there, we'll see. All right, back to the AI's turn. All right, so they have a 4 and a 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. They're gonna get, oh, there goes the viziers. That's not good. So they gain the viziers. They're also gonna discard a market card. All right, so for my turn, I'm gonna go for some viziers. So 1, 2, 3, there we go. So I'll gain these 3 here. Now for the action, it does add a palace there, even though nobody has owned it yet. So do keep that in mind. It still adds it there. And maybe we can claim that later, we'll see. But I gained 3 viziers, so that puts me in a little bit better position now. Back to the AI's turn. All right, 4 and 5. So 4 and then 5 here. And so they're gonna get rid of this card, or they're gonna take this card into their possession. And so I think I'll gather these here. We'll go 1, 2, 3, and then 4 here, taking these 3 viziers. And then we have the action. I can spend 3 to get a card. You know, this time I think I'm gonna skip getting a card. All right, back to the AI's turn. 2 and 5. I swear this die likes to roll 5. So that's gonna put us all the way up here. There's nothing here at all. And so I get to choose a tile from anywhere on the board for the AI to take. And so I think I'm just gonna give it this one here. Now it's gonna cost me 3 coins for that, but I think it was worth it. All right, so now for my turn, I'm gonna take this 1 green meeple and stick it in this space here, and then I'll gather those 2, gaining 2 cards to my inventory, and then I will place another palace there. I'm planning on claiming that location here pretty soon. Back to the AI's turn. Oh no, a 4 and a 6. So that's gonna place it here and here, but there's nothing there. And so I get to choose one of the other tiles. I think I'll choose this one here. It gains the green one, which will discard this card. Then it gains the white meeple, which now it's gonna buy another Djinn. And so it'll discard 1 card and 1 white meeple to buy the bottommost Djinn. That puts it at 4 now. We're running really close here. And then it'll claim these down here. So again, with the market, it's gonna take one of those cards. Then with the blue meeple, doesn't cost me anything, so that's good. And then it gains 1 more vizier, which is not good, but I'm still in the majority. And then of course the AI gets a camel in that space. Now I have to keep that majority of viziers. We'll do 1, 2, and 3 like that, claiming all 3 of these viziers. As far as the action goes, I don't think I'm gonna spend any money on cards, so we'll just skip that action. All right, back to the AI's turn here. 1 and 5 again. Now, the only space it can take in this column are these here. So it's gonna take all those. It gains the last vizier, but I still have the majority, so I'm definitely not worried about that. Claims 2 blue meeples, so 2 times 1 location. So that's not too bad. That's only gonna cost me 2. And then it'll claim the white meeple. Of course, it's gonna spend to claim one of the Djinns. And we really have to watch out for this at this point, because it takes 1 more Djinn to lose the game. Of course, it also gets a camel in that location. So with that in mind, I definitely have to take some of the white meeples off the map. And so I guess I go here to just take these 2, just to prevent him from getting any more. All right, back to his turn. We're almost at the end here. So 2 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 is in this location. And I can let him claim somewhere else. I should probably just let him claim this one here, or this one. Actually, I'll let him claim this one here. Yeah, let's do that. So that's gonna cost me 1 coin only. That's not too bad. And then we'll place a camel in that location. Now it's my turn. I'm definitely gonna claim that location. So we go 1, 2, like so. Taking both of these, which will give me 2 coins. So that's not really anything. But I get to claim that location and do the action again, granting me another palace there. So we have a lot of palaces. All right, back to the AI's turn. Likely the final turn of the game here. Let's see. 6 and 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. And so it has to take one other in this column here. It's going to take this one here, and that's going to cost me 2 coins. And that really worked out for me because I can take one of these as a final purchase here. We'll take both of these, claiming this location, get 2 cards here. And then on top of that, I can spend 3 money to do the action and buy another card. I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna buy this one. Actually, I don't need that one. Never mind. I'll keep my coins. I already have one of those jars in my set here, so I don't really need that. All right, so we are at the end of the game. See, there are no more legal meeple movements. There is one meeple here, but when you're moving a meeple, it has to have the same kind of meeple at a destination. There's only one meeple. It can only move to these 3 spaces here, and there's nothing there. There are no other meeples on the board. Now, technically, the AI can start the next turn by gaining this meeple automatically, but since the rules state that the game ends at the end of the turn in which there are no more legal movements available, the game will end right here. And so now you're going to check out to see how well you did. First of all, you have to compare your viziers to the AI's viziers. You have to make sure you have more than the AI. And of course, at this point, I have 9 viziers, which is pretty awesome. And so we're gonna sell our cards. Now you can actually do this value at the end here, but I just sell them ahead of time and count them with my coins. And so I have 3 cards here, and according to the chart, 3 cards is worth 7 coins. So we'll add that to my supply. And then we're gonna total my coins here. And so I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 coins total. And we'll put that at the top here. So 30 coins there. And then we're going to get for our viziers. Now, I did get this Djinn here that makes our viziers worth 3 points instead of 1. I have 9 here, that's 27, plus 10 since I have the majority, so that's 37. Then I get 2 points for each of the white meeples, so that's another 12 points here. Then I get my Djinn points, so we just add these 2 here together, and that's going to be 14 points. Then I add any trees that I own, and I have 2 trees here, so that's another 6 points. And then I add all the palaces I own, and I have 5 palaces out there. And so that's 25 points. And then I add all my camels. And if I calculated them correctly, I have 69 points out of my camels. Again, you're just looking at the upper right-hand corner of any tile that you own. And then we'll total this here, and that'll be our total for the game. And so that puts me at 193 points. This is actually my best scoring game ever, because you'll see on the rules here that you actually check to see how well you do. If you score below 190 points, it just says at least you survived. But above 191 here puts me in the second bracket, Junior Jafar, and says you made it to the throne until the next coup, that is. So that's the first time I scored in that second area. But I guess some people can score above 250. I don't know how you do it, but I think I did pretty well there. And so there you have it. That was the tutorial and solo playthrough of the official solo variant for 5 Tribes by Bruno Cathala and Days of Wonder Games. You have to let me know in the comments below what you think of this game, whether you enjoyed multiplayer, if you played it solo. Also let me know what you thought of my playthrough here. Please also like and subscribe to this channel if you like the content you see here. And I thank my Patreons, not only for choosing this game because I've had a lot of fun with it, but also for supporting this channel. And I thank you very much for joining me on Tabletop for One. Have a great night.